in many schools in the United States to do research. We do not have this problem here at all. So she began by shadowing in an immunology lab, and as you can see, she said it didn't fit my interests. So I reached out to several labs, and this particular lab invited me in. So research is driving her interest, and it's driving her future major. Yeah, I love this because it's highly experimental. It's a student who's going out there, and she's a seeker. She's going out there to see what there is. And the university is not putting up barriers and saying, no, 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 you can't come in here. They're saying, come in, learn, be part of it, and contribute. So for a public school with 22,000 students, that is a wonderful ethos to have. And it's very rare in this particular sector, okay? Bless you, whoever just sneezed. Getting my arm movements in today, yeah? Okay, so this is the laboratory that student is currently working on, just to give you an idea of what these labs look like. Now, I'm showing you this not because we're all experts on lung inflammation, we are not. I'm showing you this because I'd like to showcase how easy it is to find research. Bless you again. Many universities, they do not advertise their research online. UAB does. Have a look here. You can go into any UAB website, go on any majors page, and you will see every research project linked with that major currently being done. If you go to electrical engineering, there are over 40 research projects currently happening. So students can find out what they want to do online. They can even email the professor before they come and get their place in the laboratory organized. Now here's another student from Vietnam. She studied the Bachelor's of Science in Chemistry and Immunology, and then she went to this fantastic multidisciplinary biomed sciences MS. And she's planning to go into a PhD in chemistry. So she likes it here, clearly she wants to stick around at UAB, and this is another option for students to go into academics, but also another great example where I have a safe space for me to share my thoughts, propose my ideas. Again, we're being very experimental, and we're going out there and learning, and people are responding to us. Yeah? So the students getting great communication skills, a brilliant understanding of the scientific world and environment around them, hands-on practical skills that will help them land the job. So when they go for the interview, they can open the door and they can walk into that door. That's the goal here, to make you work ready, purely ready for whatever career you're going to be pursuing. And so this is the laboratory that the previous student, Anne, we just saw there, is working on. And again, you'll notice funding sources, the National Science Foundation, that's a highly prestigious funding source in the United States. And working on something I definitely don't understand, DNA and RNA binding proteins, okay? So some really important research going on. Now, of course, internship-wise, we have a huge number of internships available. You may have read some news about OPT. To be honest, we still have a large number of students on OPT, but CPT in the US is still very accessible. Very easy for students who want to go there and go and do it. But of course, when you come into the school, you've got to be goal-driven. You've got to say, get me into a lab, get me into this internship, and then I can build my resume gently but effectively. Alabama doesn't have many international students, okay? If you go to California, you're going to compete with 150,000 international students from India. And that's tough, because Indian students are very good, right? At OPT and CPT especially. So we do not have that kind of competition here. It's much easier to get into internships. And of course, when it comes down to OPT as well, if we can ever get there, we obviously have a large number of students. So latest number, in the past year, 1,000 plus students currently on OPT. A lot of really high-tech jobs here, but of course in the medical sector, we expect this to grow. And that's exactly what today is all about. It's really understanding the growth potential that students can have by embracing technology, embracing a growth sector, and then coming through. So, you have a student, they love UAB, we've given them a brilliant scholarship. What else can we do for them? How do we get their tuition fee to go down to about $5,000 as a pathway student? Yeah? How can we do that? On-campus jobs, right? You know at Oregon State we have Jumpstart, you may have seen this. Now at UAB we have Be Ready. Okay, and this is something that Into has developed together with the university to allow us to streamline your job application. It works exactly the same as Jumpstart. All you need to do is receive your offer, and then we will reach out. You'll receive an email invite after you've received your offer. We'll send this on a rolling basis. Every student will receive one. You respond. You then have to attend a Be Ready webinar, which is hosted by Career Services, okay? After that, there's a second webinar, because one webinar is never enough. After that, there's a third webinar, right? But my point being here, as you come through these, you'll be working with a career advisor. They will be helping you on your resume. They will be helping you have access to the jobs portal. You'll be able to start applying for jobs here in Vietnam and interview for your job here in Vietnam before you fly to Alabama. The goal is to get you the job before you arrive, okay? Sorry, wrong way. There we go. So, how many jobs are available? We have hundreds of openings every year. That doesn't mean hundreds of jobs. That means hundreds of openings. Every opening can have 10 positions, 20 positions. So the number of jobs available is well into the thousands each year. I would estimate around 2,000 to 2,500 jobs available on campus each year for students who come into UAB. Last year, we had over 300 international students receiving job offers for various positions across UAB. This is a good number, right? This means that easily a third of international students who apply are getting those jobs. So in other words, we can very much give you a high probability of getting a job on campus, okay? Now, salaries down here, yes, it's not quite New York, yeah? It's Alabama, it's a little bit lower than New York, but your cost of living is very low as well, yeah? So 10 to 15 US dollars. We obviously have teaching assistants, graduate assistant jobs available. For any graduate who applies, you can interview for that in advance online, and they pay over $20,000 per year for those positions, okay? So in terms of more entry-level jobs at rec center, libraries, we have that, but we also have a lot of jobs all around the school. And here are some examples of on-campus jobs that you have access to, okay? There is a big range of jobs here. Everything from web content, graphic design, social media, peer tutoring, instruction leaders, lab assistants, and of course, any area in paid research. So on-campus jobs are diverse. They set you up for a great career. This is not just making coffee, cleaning floors. You can do that, but you can do this as well. And I'd also like to add that many universities have a big problem with on-campus jobs. And that problem is when a student starts an on-campus job, they quit really quickly. Most students quit their on-campus job within 3 months of starting, yeah? So if you stay, if you persevere, the chances of a promotion are very high because there is a big amount of turnover in the on-campus job sector. So we have students who come in doing a very entry-level job, maybe doing a receptionist job, or maybe working in accommodation. After 3 months, 6 months, they get promoted. So they're doing a managerial role, right? They're doing something much more relying on their skills, high technology, high demand jobs. And this is what sets students up. So it's not just the income, of course this is great for your money, but it's also about having that real world experience, the soft skills, the communication pieces, and then finally, references, yeah? So imagine you go into your internship interview. Everyone knows a paid internship in the US has an 80% chance of a full-time job offer. 80% chance. So you want that paid internship. Let's say you go into your interview for your internship. They're going to ask you a question. What have you been doing since you arrived in the United States? And if your answer is, I've been studying really hard, yeah, you're not so likely to get that job. But if you come in and you say, well, you know, I came in on the Be Ready program, I got a job, I got promoted after 3 months, I've got 3 letters of recommendation from faculty, from my manager here in UAB, I'll say, great. You're somebody who's interested and interesting. You have a story to tell us. And really in America, honestly, it's not about grades, it's not about exams. America is about stories. It's about stories, it's about connections. It's about bringing everything together, and interests and passions as well. So this is for that student who wants to go and make it happen, who has drive. And I'll show you more about what that looks like. So here actually, you can see 2 of our Vietnamese students. I'm really sorry about the quality of the picture. But both of these students are from Vietnam. They've both worked in various roles, so student intern, and then a research assistant, orientation leader, followed by entrepreneurship program assistant. These people have been promoted. They've got better jobs as they go through the system. We have one on the right-hand side who is an entrepreneur, who has set up a company here in Vietnam. And so this is exactly what we're seeing, those brilliant options there. Now, We've talked a bit about money. I'll show you what an on-campus job does to your study fee and bottom line. I have great news for you today. Drum roll, please. All right, well, we'll skip the drum roll. We have great news, which is we can now offer for your pathway year as an undergraduate student $7,000 per semester, okay? Yeah. It was $3,000 2 weeks ago, right? It's now $7,000, so we've more than doubled the scholarship for the pathway portion of your degree. The progression scholarship currently is the same, but I promise you, I am working very hard with UAB to increase the progression scholarship to a higher amount. And I believe we will do it. So I'd like to show you a pathway student versus a direct entry student at bachelor's level now has a much higher degree of financial aid, a total of $23,000 US over the course of their program, up to $15,000 a year on an on-campus job. Your first year can be as low as $5,000, and then your second, third, and fourth up here with $13,000. Now this means if you include accommodation, you include your meals, you can be doing this for under $25,000 a year. So you can earn a nursing degree from a top 3 nursing college, excellent clinical job positioning, a fabulous resume for only $25,000 a year for years 2 to 4, and only probably around $15,000 a year for year 1. So this is an amazing investment in your future. We know what a nurse earns in the United States. The salaries for nurses are very high in America. Yeah? Within 1.5 years, you'll make this back as a nurse in the United States. Okay? Now, for direct entry, to give you a point of comparison, you can see that we have a scholarship of up to $7,500, and this is a matching scholarship, so that's the maximum you can be awarded. And so you can see the maximum amount will be about 30, but if you don't get the maximum, you're going to earn a similar amount to the pathway. Yeah? So in other words, the pathway is a really good option for students now from a price perspective. So here you have tuition and fees after 4 years coming in at $36,200 if you get an on-campus job, which I really believe you will, right? And then you add on your accommodation on top of that. Easily you'll make your salary will cover this fee in 1 year as a nurse, or in many healthcare professions. If you're a graduate student, then we offer, again, a lot of opportunities. You can earn more money on campus as a graduate student because we have a lot more senior jobs as well as TA and graduate assistant jobs that you can come and earn. And so if you're coming in, for example, in the AI medicine program, this is just a no-brainer, right? In terms of the quality, the research access you're getting, the costs here are extremely agreeable for a student coming in on such a high-tech program. They're graduating with a STEM degree, yeah? Let's just move on because we've done this, and we're going to move on from this. And so realistically, I'd like to say a really important point. When I visited UAB, I met quite a lot of students from Vietnam. The thing these students all had in common was just how diligent they were. They were so dedicated. They knew what they wanted to do. They were willing to explore. America is such a great country for a student from Vietnam because you guys have the drive, you have the passion, and America will match that. Yeah? America will match that. There are lots of students who take university for granted. Students from Vietnam do not. They see it as a great opportunity. I've lived in Vietnam for nearly 3 years of my life now, and I just remain impressed. Every single time I meet with all of you, when I meet with your students, I remain encouraged by this. I guarantee for your students who want to be successful, we can match their drive here at University of Alabama at Birmingham. I'm going to show you one short video of one of our nursing students.
My name is Tony.